everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Bedrock Survival. As you can see, I went ahead and I cleared out a large area. I cleared out pretty much our entire little spawn area of trees, and I did a little terraforming. I'm going to show a quick kind of deforestation time-lapse, I guess, or like a terraforming time-lapse. Unfortunately, I wasn't quite paying attention. My internet cut out halfway through doing the time-lapse because internet in America is so amazing. Yeah, but we're not going to go there. So, in between fighting with them and figuring out why the heck my internet wasn't working, once it was back up, I was like, oh, okay, great. I'll go and I'll finish that time-lapse. We'll get it all done. I forgot to start recording again. And now you get to see the inside of my shoes. So it's not going to show where I terraformed this. You'll notice in the quick little time lapse that these two hills were connected by like 1 or 2 levels of dirt. I took those out. I leveled off this hill a little bit. Eventually we're going to put a dock over here on this far side. I've got a lot of plans for this entire area, but we're going to talk about that. I'm going to build a board, and we're going to make some signs, and we're going to figure out our game plan for moving forward. But today we're going to build our base, or our house, rather. This is all our base. We're going to build our first starter home. I'm also probably going to be building a blacksmith's house, because my starter base house is basically going to be just where I sleep, and then it's going to be my storage. It's going to have all of my storage inside of it, and then I'm going to build a secondary building that's going to look sort of like a blacksmith's house or a blacksmith's shed, and that's where all of my furnaces, anvils, grindstones, stuff like that are going to be. Eventually, this entire little map here is going to be like a village. So we've got our barn here for our animals. Eventually we're going to add in a chicken coop for the chickens. Eventually I want to get 1 or 2 horses, so we'll make a little horse stable too. We're going to eventually make some more permanent farms for our crops, especially as we start to get more of the crops. And then we're going to build ourselves our starter base. And we're also eventually going to build a nice tower for our enchantment setup. I've got tons of ideas, but obviously I haven't updated this map, so we're going to pop it off there, pick it up, and there it is. So I trimmed back a ton of the trees. Obviously I still have quite a bit here on the edge of our map, which this is 128 by 128, so it's a level 0 map, and eventually I'm going to clear out the rest of the trees on that far side of the map and the ones over on this island behind the barn, because eventually I've got plans for that too. So yeah, it should be a really great episode. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this here. Why don't we walk over there in second person? And I'm going to pop that right there. Alright, cool. So I'm going to throw it to the time-lapse, showing me chopping down all those trees. And as soon as that's done, I'll be right back with you folks. Alrighty, everybody. I really hope you enjoyed that little terraforming time-lapse we did there. What we're going to do now is we're going to come over here. I've decided that this is going to be where we're going to build our starter house. As I had stated earlier in the beginning of the video, this is mostly going to be just where we do our bulk storage of our items, and it's also going to be where we sleep, and we're also going to pick out a nice little spot somewhere to build a blacksmith shop, and that's where most of our blast furnaces and our normal furnaces are going to go. But what we're going to do now is I'm going to throw it into a time lapse of me building the house here, and I really hope you guys like it. Alrighty folks, so there it is, nestled in the trees there. It's our starter base. You'll notice it's a little bit bigger than most people do their starter bases. As I had stated back in the first episode, the first couple episodes, I usually do the little camp out thing. I pick a tree and I camp out under it, I set up my bed and a few things, and that's my starter base. Most times. Sometimes I'll do the stereotypical like little dirt hut, or I'll find like a cave and I'll hunker down in it. But that's generally what I do over there, is the little camp out. So here it is, our starter base. It's got some character to it. It's pretty simple. The inside of it is pretty empty right now, as you can see. I added in some stairs in the floor at different angles just to kind of give it some texture. And then eventually we're going to put a furnace, a blast furnace, and a cooker in here, maybe a little seating area, and some simple storage for stuff like armor and food, things that we need to grab quickly. Up here on the second floor, we're going to do... Oh geez, I'm just getting all over with this camera. Up here, we're going to do a brewing setup here in this corner, and we're going to do our little enchantment setup here in this corner. Knock that torch loose. And then up here in the attic is where we're going to put all our bulk storage. So up here is going to be filled with chests. It's going to be a little cramped, but it's the attic. It's going to be all the storage. It's going to be the bulk items, the cobble, and all the wood, and everything else that you always seem to gather 80,000 million pounds of when you're building. Little bits and bobs, they're all going to go up here in chests. And I'm not really sure if I'm going to do the chests this way, or if I'm going to do the chests this way. Not sure. So if you folks have some input, that would really be awesome, because sometimes I'm not really entirely sure. So if you think like we should do the long way there, in the United States we call it hot dog or hamburger. I don't know if they do that in like primary school in other countries. This would be considered a hamburger. This would be considered a hot dog. I think I'm going to do the hot dog for the chests and have them the long way. I'll be able to fit more in here, and I'll be able to have long rows that I can kind of walk up and down to get to stuff. Eventually, though, we are going to build a bigger base, more of a grand base, and that is going to have an actual automatic storage system in it. It's going to have some more redstone in it. Obviously, though, this is just our starter house. This is just something to get us off our feet, get us going, give us somewhere safe to have some of our stuff, so we quit hiding out underneath the tree like a mad woman. So I'm not entirely sure where we're gonna put the blacksmith shop. I feel a little bad because I know I said we were gonna build the blacksmith shop today, but if I'm being honest, I really am not 100% certain where I even want to put it, which is kind of making it difficult to build it if I don't know where I want to put it. And I know right here where I'm standing is eventually where the wizard's tower is going to be. I'm eventually going to put like a cartography station and an enchantment setup in a large tower here on this hill, and I think that'll be a nice focal point. I might put the blacksmith shop over here on this hill. I'm not sure. And like I said earlier in the video, eventually we're going to put a path that is going to come from this beachhead here. We're going to put a large dock, and then there's going to be stairs that lead up here. Zombie villager. And it's going to come down through here, and it's going to kind of be like the entranceway to our little town. So I'm thinking maybe the blacksmith would make sense up here on this hill. I kind of was thinking that's where I was going to build the horse stable eventually when I get some horses. So yeah, I'm torn. I'm torn, folks. I'm torn. I don't know where to put the blacksmith shop. So if any of you have any sort of an input, I would really appreciate if you could comment that below, because I really have no idea where to put it. I just really don't. Now what I think we're going to do is I'm going to throw it into another time lapse of me doing some exploring. If I find anything unique while I'm out there exploring the ocean, because it seems kind of like we're on a very large island that is connected to the Mushroom Island. So I'm pretty sure we're surrounded mostly by water. So we're going to do some exploring. I'm going to see if I can find some birch trees, and hopefully somewhere out there is a jungle, because that would be amazing to get some cocoa beans and some bamboo and some other things. I honestly can't believe it, folks. I got in my boat, as you saw there. I went east or west of spawn, and it was coming up pretty bunk. I was just seeing more islands with birch and oak, which, as we already know, we have a plethora of birch and oak. So I kind of veered back towards spawn. As you saw there, I came the long way around the island, came up along the side of the mushroom field side of the island, and then I saw that this frozen ocean biome, which is huge, and I went around that because there's a ocean monument on the far side of it. I'm speechless at what this seed has turned out to be. I may actually put it in one of the videos so you guys can check it out. I spawned in next to a mushroom field. It's attached to a giant island. It's surrounded by water. It's got a frozen ocean biome within 300 blocks of it. It's got a ocean ruin within 250 blocks of it, or not an ocean ruin, excuse me, a ocean monument within 250 blocks of it, and now it has a freaking jungle, and we're maybe 500, 600 blocks from spawn, I think, and I really am utterly speechless. Ocelots and abound, and random jungle trees on floating islands. This is honestly what tipped me off. I was just going to keep going. I'm not sure if you noticed there in that little exploring time lapse. I was just going to keep going because I thought I saw this large oak tree here and was like, oh great, it's just more oak. I don't need more oak. I've got a stack and a half of oak saplings if I need oak. And then I saw this weird floating island with this tree, and I saw all those vines dangling from that tree and thought, jackpot. I knew we had finally... Well, I shouldn't say finally. I knew we had found a jungle biome a heck of a lot sooner than I thought we would find it. So I'm going to gather some resources here in the jungle in a little time lapse again. And I should have freaking brought a... I should have brought a bed with me. I did not bring a bed with me. Alrighty folks, as you saw there, I got a pretty good haul on our little excursion there. I even managed to get a iron ingot, of all things. I got us some clay, some melons as you saw, some cocoa beans, almost a stack of jungle wood. I was lucky enough to get 7 saplings, so that'll get us started. I don't generally use the jungle wood for a whole lot, but I do like to have it on hand because it is a wood type, and I'm a little bit of a Minecraft hoarder. Sometimes even if I'm never going to use something, I usually have at least a stack of it, or a couple stacks of it sitting around, especially like birch and jungle wood. They're good to just smelt up as charcoal to make torches, stuff like that. I do build with them sometimes. They're lower on my list of woods that I like to build with. I did get some flowers there. We finally got some azea bluets, some poppies, we got some cornflowers, and some oxeye daisies. So we've got a few colors on the way. If I bone meal... Here, let's grab some of this bone meal. If I bone meal the ground here too, you'll notice we get dandelions and the lily of the valley, because we're technically in a valley. So if I saw poppies, or not poppies, if I saw dandelions laying around, I didn't really go for them, because I knew that I could get them right here. And obviously, as you saw, we've got bamboo, 31 bamboo, about half a stack, so that'll get us going on that too. We can turn some of these melons here into seeds, and that'll give us some melon plants. So things are looking on the up here on the old realm. I'm really proud of how this house turned out, even though it's just oak and a little bit of birch up there. Next episode at the beginning, I think what we'll do is we'll do the interior here, and we'll move all of our goodies from over there underneath the tree to here in the house and kind of start to get a feel for the layout. We'll start decorating a little bit more. I think while I'm off screen, I am going to go exploring again, see if I can find us some birch trees, see if I can find us any other sort of goodies out there. But if I come across anything really interesting, like a spawner or like, I don't know, a village, something along those lines. I am hoping that we find a village. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this. I'm liking how the layout here is coming along. Next episode, we'll build ourselves a little bulletin board with things that we want to do or things that we want to try and do in the future. Let's update the map real quick. There it is. Now our house is on there. It's starting to come along. Well, I really appreciate y'all checking this episode out. If you really liked it and you want to give us a subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. It definitely helps out the channel. If you want to leave us a like, go ahead and leave us a like. If there's anything you'd like to say or anything you liked in today's episode, go ahead and comment that below too. And that's gonna pretty much do it for today, folks. I really hope, I really hope y'all enjoyed this episode. I hope you have a great day and a wonderful week, and we'll see you guys near the weekend. Take care.